Hello and welcome to Gameplay for All Seasons. Now, recently we haven't got that much information about Hogwarts Legacy. Since the trailer, it's been very few far between. Most things we've got have been leaks and rumours. Many you imagine aren't quite true. However, there's been a little bit of good news recently, which is that we've seen a little bit of the concept art that the studio have been putting up on the walls in their offices in Salt Lake City. Now, this comes from a very reputable source. It comes from Jason Keeler. Potentially I've said that wrong. But he's the Warner Media CEO. He's got a blue tick next to him and everything on Twitter, which is actually where he released this. So what he's done, he's gone ahead and actually shared 4 pictures of concept art. Now, obviously, concept art isn't the actual gameplay. It's not actually something they're necessarily going to use, but it tells you the way they're thinking about the game. It gives you the sort of themes. And actually, when you combine those 4 pictures, which we'll discuss, with the trailer we've already had, a strong theme starts to come out, at least one strong theme, which is around the fact that it looks like we're going to be actually nurturing, not just having fantastic beasts around us, but actually nurturing them as well. Now, if we just think back quickly to the original trailer we had, obviously it was just flicking from sort of one scene to another, but you did have a scene where the character, so us, were feeding some Mooncalves. You also had a scene where we were sort of patting a Graphorn on the muzzle as well. So just those 2 bits kind of suggest with the creatures we're going to be able to tame them and befriend them and look after them. And actually now we've got these extra concept art pictures, it tells even more about that, right? So what these pictures are then, the first picture is you see what to me appears to be a newborn dragon. It kind of a bit of an ugly creature, but some people may say it's beautiful, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder and all that. But it looks a little bit like it's got a few horns, a bit scaly. It's probably a very, very newborn dragon, which very much, you know, if it's a newborn dragon, it suggests we might be nurturing it, because you imagine at that stage it's going to require it. And that's seconded actually with another one of the pictures of the concept arts they shared, which is quite an idyllic picture actually. It's got a Graphorn and a Graphorn baby, almost in a scenario you'd expect to have an actual some form of domesticated cattle. It's looking quite idyllic. You've got a nice lake in the background, the sun is shining. It all looks quite tranquil and quite peaceful, which is quite nice. There are 2 other pictures as well. One is about a garden gnome that is also even more ugly than the dragon, but it probably is going to be more one of the enemies you have to avoid, I imagine, or at least something that will be a bit irritating, maybe your ankles or something. It's called the Killer Potato Edition, or at least that's what they called it in the art. But it looks very good. It looks exactly probably what they were trying to go for. So I mean, what does it all mean if you put those things together? Like I say, we're seeing more and more and more of these fantastic beasts, in situations where we are potentially looking after them as well, which, that is telling us quite a lot about it. I imagine for the game itself, there's probably going to be a whole skill tree around looking after animals, taming animals, and that would be very, very interesting. I mean, my main hope for this part of the game is actually, rather than just being solely focused in a mission where you do these things, is it's more something passive in the background, something that you can, if you want to go and do it, you can just explore around and think, I'll go and see the Graphorns, I'll go and feed the Mooncalves, I'll go do this, I'll go do that. Because that way I think it will very much feel like you really are living within Hogwarts. You are making your decision and it's a living, breathing world, rather than just missions where you can go off and see the Graphorn, the mission finishes and suddenly that whole thing has disappeared and it's just a nice lake. So like I say, nice to have a bit of news. The guy is obviously very reputable. It's not a rumour, it's not a leak, it's just something that's been put out there. I will put his Twitter in the description below, so do go ahead and have a look at it if you actually want to see the video, the pictures rather. Hit the subscribe button if you don't want to miss out on upcoming Hogwarts news as it happens. Like this video if you have enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next video.